Greetings, fellow songwriters and seekers, and welcome back to Muse Measure. If you haven't done so yet, please take a moment, hit that little guy in the lotus down below, and subscribe to our wonderful conversation about the craft of songwriting. All right, I have a question here. Leslie from Hoboken asks, have you ever written a song that changed how you understood the experience it came from? Almost like the song finished the feeling for you. Well, excellent question, Leslie. Hopefully, this happens every single song. Maybe it's a big hope, maybe it's a bit of a stretch to expect this, but for me, songwriting is a process of therapy, I guess you could say, or self-exploration. So I start with a thought that I have, maybe a preconceived idea of what happened to me or a certain experience. So say I have a fight with my fiance, and I'm really upset about it, and this is the feeling I'm going to convey. Well, as the song evolves, I'm hopefully seeing it in a much broader, wiser, greater perspective than I was when I was wallowing in my self-pity. And I've found this a lot when I actually do write songs that start from a confessional point of view, where I'm actually singing or expressing something that went on in my life, that it evolves and I have a greater perspective and my feeling has changed after having done the song. And this is really the point of like journaling and writing about your experiences, is to gain that greater perspective. Even if you're not doing it as you write, and like you just say you do a free write session and you still feel the same way after the writing. When you go back to it and read it later, maybe you have a new perspective there. And since songwriting for me, it's very rare that I get a song done in one sitting. The ideas evolve over time. And hopefully I have a greater perspective. Hopefully I don't actually become more rooted in kind of the samsaric, egoistic, whiny mindset. But if I do, that's okay too. And maybe that's kind of a fun exercise to really wallow in it and really feel what that's like. So usually the emotion, what's interesting about emotions is they are often attached to a story and a concept. Oh, that bastard is always doing this to me, or this is always how people treat me. Nobody listens to me. So that's the concept and the story of it. But hopefully the feeling, the feeling itself is actually rooted in the body and there's some kind of physical sensation, and it then can associate other things and it can bring up other experiences and maybe show you that that's not always the case, or maybe show your own role in it, why you're getting this reaction from people. And that's really why I think songwriting and all kinds of writing is really a spiritual practice if it's done with the right intention, is that we are growing emotionally and spiritually through this process. We're not just saying, wah, 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 woe is me, and then you listen to me, you listen to my what I'm saying about this, I want you to hear me, and this is the only way people ever listen to me is for you to listen to my song. That would be pretty pathetic. And maybe some artists have done that and they've had success. But for me, I would feel like that's a waste of the time and exercise. First of all, it's a waste of the time for me because I'm not growing personally. Maybe my craft is growing. Maybe I'm becoming a better songwriter. I'm better at writing whiny, angry songs. But it also is not helping my audience grow. And I am a teacher by profession. And so I feel like I need to also teach and lead by example in my songs. So I want to show the process of the evolution of the thought. And it may not happen by the end of a song, but I think as my whole catalog develops and my whole body of work develops, that someone could see how maybe my emotion and the way I handled it in an early album has become wiser by the end of my songwriting career, whenever that day comes. That old Blakean quote, if a fool persists in his folly, he will become wise. It's that whole thing. So it's about persisting in your folly, but like sticking with the folly and taking a concept that is a dead thing, but then imbuing it with some kind of life and beauty. And beauty is an exuberance of the form of the concept. It's like an extension of it. It's a growth out of it. And it moves in kind of fun, wonderful ways. And as long as it's moving in fun, wonderful ways, it is pleasurable to do. And it's pleasurable to write, it's pleasurable to listen to and experience. And that's what we want to do with these negative emotions, or whatever your experience was, is to let them evolve and to see where they go. And hopefully it comes to a wiser point of view. But we don't want to put on some kind of dead concept stamp every, at the end of every verse or every chorus, just to like keep it intact, keep my message intact. I'm not that kind of a songwriter. But I'm a fan of that kind of songwriting. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. But even that, I think, if you listen to Hank Williams songs where he's wallowing in some kind of misery, the poetry develops and you get this kind of catharsis through it, that you, through the experience of beauty of these lyrics, you are no longer so lonesome you could cry. Or you don't have this feeling like all hope is gone, because you've experienced the beauty of the lyrics and the experience of that really teaches you how to view the world and how to view your own experience in the world. You're having these sad, negative emotions. So how does the great songwriter deal with it in his song or her song? What do they show us? Think about, Both Sides Now, Joni Mitchell. I looked at love from both sides now. It's love's illusions, I recall. I really don't know love at all, or I don't really know clouds at all. So it's these illusions, which can be taken in both ways. It could be an illusion that like, oh, I'm just, I'm deluding myself. I don't really know anything at all about these things. And I'm still focused on some kind of romantic ideals of what love is or what clouds are, good and bad, that I have these concepts. But the fact that she acknowledges it in that song makes her wiser. That you get to a point, just like Socrates, I am the wisest man in the land because I know that I know nothing. So you get to this point where you are a blank slate again and you're open. Once you realize your ignorance, then you're open. When you are assuming that you know everything, that you've got it all figured out, that's when you're closed off and you're basically a dead concept, this husk of a Encyclopedia Britannica of dead concepts. But as soon as you can acknowledge that you are open and you don't know anything, then you have an opportunity for growth there. And the world is open to you, and it's sublime, it's ecstatic, it's beautiful. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but this has happened to me many, many times when I was in a really, really low state, like my mother dying, or a friend dying, or going through a bad breakup. But I'm in such a raw state that when I walk around, when I can get out of my head, I just like everything takes on this beauty to it. All of a sudden I start to pay attention to everything. Everything has some poignancy to it, which isn't there when I'm just kind of going through the motions and just on autopilot. So even though we would never wish these things upon us, the tragedies of life actually open us up to this raw state where we are humbled enough to see the world anew and to experience it in that way. So back to your question, definitely the writing of a song, I think, is the process of doing this. So it's like reliving these traumas, but getting into that emotional state where you are raw to the world. And you don't, when I write songs, I try not to be a know-it-all and think I know exactly what needs to happen now, which you can easily fall into, like, oh, well, I know a lot about music theory, so I know that, oh, I'm on the dominant chord now, so I've got to go back to the one. Well, what does the emotion call for? What do the lyrics call for? What comes next? Not from the editor mind in your head who is dictating to you, oh, these are the rules, now follow them, stick to it. But what is the imagination presenting to you next? And the imagination is your great creative force. So what's coming up next? And you get it down. And then, so you really are open to this exuberance of form. Like think about a plant growing and, as it winds around things, it's beautiful. Or a dancer, the way they're dancing. It's the same thing. It's like it allows these, what we think we know, to expand and grow and be in a state of becoming as opposed to a dead state where it's already fixed. Okay? So that's a very long-winded and exuberant explanation to your answer, but I think that is the great gift. And when you're in that zone of songwriting and being creative like that, the world really just opens up for you. And all your old experiences, because we're all carrying around all kinds of trauma and hurt, all the disappointments of our life. We can revisit those through our songwriting process, but because we're in a now state after the fact, that we can then re-enliven them and make them beautiful, make them the great kernels of joy of life, even though they were based in tragedy, that they were a chance for us to wake up and to appreciate the fact that we are breathing, living human beings right now. That we, for the most part, I don't know what your situation is, we are healthy, we have life, we have friends, we have love in our lives. That's what I think song and art and all this creative process should be teaching us and teaching other people, is how to view the world in that way, that you have real gratitude for it and you get to see the beauty of things, as opposed to just walking through and just seeing dead concepts because you already know everything. You already know, oh, that's a tree. But did you actually look at the tree? Did you actually see all the trees? I've looked at trees from both sides now, and I don't know trees at all. Well, you may know what a tree is, but do you know the tree that you're talking about, what it actually is? And have you really taken the time to look at it and enjoy it? That's what life's about, in my opinion. That's what the creative process is about. And that's what songwriting's about. All right. Very long-winded, I'm sorry. But let me know what you think of what I brought up today. Put it in the comments if you think I'm full of shit, or if you resonates with you at all, or if you have some other thoughts, maybe I miss some aspect of it. And best of luck with your songwriting and seeing the world like this, seeing it open up and be in a state of becoming. Take care.